If hell had a corporate office, it would look exactly like this place. Fluorescent lights humming, fake smiles plastered on faces, and Met wrapped in a suit that felt more like a prison uniform than professional attire. To make matters worse, the devil himself sat across from me every single day. His name, Ethan Kane. My rival, my tormentor, and now God help me husband. You think I'm exaggerating? I wish I were. But let me rewind. When I first joined the Manhattan branch of Harrison and Doyle, I thought it was my dream job. Fresh out of grad school, ready to conquer the finance world. I believed in merit, in working hard, in building something that would actually matter. What I didn't count on was Ethan the golden boy, the firm's rising star, the one who always had the final word in every boardroom. He wasn't just good at his job. He was ruthless. The kind of man who could smile at you while stabbing a knife straight into your career. And yet, I couldn't stop noticing him. The way he carried himself. The dangerous spark in his eyes whenever he won an argument. The unbearable confidence that clung to him like expensive cologne. I told myself it was hate. It had to be hate. But then came the contract. One disastrous merger negotiation later, I found myself cornered. Ethan and I had made a reckless deal to save both our positions. And suddenly, our names were tied together in more ways than one. A technical loophole in the state's corporate law and a rushed filing had somehow landed us not just in a business partnership, but in a legally binding domestic partnership. Married. To each other. It was supposed to be temporary. A joke. Really. Sign the papers. Keep the client happy. Protect our jobs. 6 months tops. But the moment the HR department announced our union at the quarterly meeting, I swear half the office nearly fainted. And Ethan smug bastard just slipped his arm around my shoulders like he owned me. You're blushing. He whispered in my ear that night as we stood in the lobby. Cameras flashing. I'm plotting your murder. I shot back, my pulse betraying me. But beneath the bickering, something else was happening. Something I didn't want to admit. Nights working late at his place turned into awkward dinners. Awkward dinners turned into conversations about our pasts. Our scars. Our impossible ambitions. And slowly, I realized the man I thought I hated wasn't the devil after all. He was just another human being trying not to drown in this brutal world. Still, that didn't make it any less dangerous. Because falling for Ethan Kane was like signing another risky contract, one where the fine print could destroy me. The first time I caught him looking at me like I was more than a rival. We were sitting on his couch. Empty wine glasses between us. His usually sharp gaze softened. Lingering too long. I felt my throat tighten. My chest ache. And every instinct screamed at me to run. But I didn't. Don't look at me like that. I muttered. Like what? He asked. Voice low. Almost vulnerable. Like you're not supposed to. He smiled, then not the cocky, infuriating grin he used at the office. But something raw. Unguarded. Maybe I'm tired of doing what I'm supposed to. And that was the moment I knew I was in trouble. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't just fighting him. I was fighting myself. That was just the beginning. Our so-called marriage became the talk of the firm. Whispered about in break rooms. Speculated on during board meetings. Some colleagues rooted for us. Others waited for our inevitable implosion. And me. I was stuck in the middle of a storm I didn't ask for. Trying desperately not to let Ethan see how much power he actually had over me. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Not in New York. Not in this cutthroat business. And certainly not when love real. Terrifying love comes crashing through the walls you've spent your whole life building. It's funny how a contract meant to save my job ended up saving my heart. But getting to that point wasn't simple. And the last few months nearly broke me. Ethan and I lived in constant tension, half business partners, half spouses, half enemies. At work, we performed for the firm, walking hand in hand into client dinners, smiling through gritted teeth for the cameras. At home, though, we fell apart. The smallest things lit sparks between us. He accused me of being reckless. I accused him of being heartless. Sometimes, in the middle of a fight, I wondered how much longer we could last before one of us walked away. The breaking point came late one Friday night. We had just closed a deal that could secure our careers for years. Everyone at the office celebrated us, congratulating us on being the perfect team. But behind closed doors, the air between us was suffocating. "You don't trust me," I said, pacing the living room while Ethan leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You've given me no reason to." He shot back, his voice clipped, tired. I turned to him, my chest tight. "Then why did you fight so hard to keep me tied to you in this stupid contract?" Silence. His jaw tightened, his eyes burning into mine like he wanted to say something but didn't dare. "Answer me, Ethan," I demanded. And then, his voice cracked. "Because letting you go was never an option." The words hung in the air, heavy, impossible. I wanted to believe him, but part of me still clung to the idea that this was just another manipulation, another game, until he stepped closer, until his hand cupped the side of my face with such trembling care that I couldn't mistake it for anything but truth. "I don't know when it happened," he whispered, "but somewhere between hating you and needing you, I started." He exhaled, eyes closing as if the confession itself might undo him. "I started loving you." My breath caught. For so long, I'd fought the same war inside myself, convinced it was madness. But in that moment, with his forehead pressed to mine, I finally let the walls collapse. "I'm so tired of pretending I don't feel the same," I admitted, my voice barely audible. The kiss was inevitable. It wasn't soft at first, it was desperate. All fire and teeth. The release of months of repressed emotion. But then it slowed, deepened, softened into something terrifyingly tender. For the first time since we signed that cursed contract, I felt free. The weeks that followed weren't perfect, but they were real. Ethan and I stopped hiding behind rivalry. We argued, yes, but we also laughed, cooked dinners together, and even shared late-night walks through the city like any other couple. For the first time, the marriage that started as a mistake began to feel like a choice. Still, the firm was watching us. Our contract had been designed to end after 6 months. A neat conclusion to the strangest business arrangement anyone had ever seen. As the deadline loomed, whispers filled the halls. People wondered if we'd divorce, if we'd go back to being rivals, if everything had just been an act. On the morning of the final review, I found Ethan in his office, staring at the dissolution papers on his desk. My heart pounded as I stepped in, unsure of what I wanted him to do. "So this is it," I said, forcing a smile. "Freedom Day." He looked up, his expression unreadable. "Is that what you want?" I froze. What do you mean? Do you want to walk out of this and never look back? Because if you do, I'll sign right now. His voice was steady, but his eyes, God, his eyes were pleading. Across the room, my hand brushing against the pen he held. You think I went through hell with you just to throw it all away? His lips curved into the smallest smile. So what are you saying? I took a breath. For once, I wasn't afraid of the risk. I'm saying I don't want this marriage to end. Not the fake one. Not the real one. Not any of it. The relief in his face was immediate, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. He pushed the papers aside and pulled me into his arms, holding me as if the world could finally stop spinning. We didn't sign the dissolution that day. We didn't sign it at all. Instead, we made a new contract our own. No lawyers. No loopholes. No deadlines. Just two signatures scrawled on the back of an old takeout menu, promising to choose each other even when it wasn't easy. Looking back, maybe it was always supposed to be this way. Maybe the universe knew we needed to fight each other before we could fight for each other. And now, when I wake up with Ethan's hand tangled in mine, I realize something simple, something terrifyingly beautiful. I didn't just marry my rival. I married the love of my life. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.